بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is a continuation of the poem by Ibn al-IZZ al-Hanafi rahimahullah on the biography of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Today we'll be covering the 4 lines, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 4 lines of the poem related to the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the first line is لكنما المشهور ثاني عشره في يوم الاثنين طلوع فجره. Yet the 12th is more well known on Monday at dawn, meaning that the Prophet ﷺ, in the most well known opinion, was born on the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal on Monday at the time of Fajr. Now, in the previous line, we learned that the Prophet ﷺ was born on the 10th, and that is probably the view of the author of the poem. There are various views on the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. But the most well-known opinion amongst the people of ilm, of knowledge, is that he was born on the 12th in the month of Rabiul Awwal on Monday at the time of Fajr. Now there's no difference opinion about the Monday or Rabiul Awwal and the time of Fajr. It's the 12th that's where there's contention. Various opinions are there among the scholars. 12th is there, 10th is as I mentioned. Also, one of the very well-known opinion of recent scholars and historians in the past as well. Actually, it's probably the most authentic in terms of narrations, narrated by Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, that he was born on the 8th of Rabiul Awwal. Now, it's important to know the right date for historical purposes, but there is actually no shari'i hukam established by knowing which day of Rabiul Awwal it is. There is actually no sharia hukam that is to knowing, just for knowing the correct history, but there is difference of opinion among the scholars. But like I said, there is no hukam related to it. Rasulullah SAW, as mentioned last week, he was born in the year of the elephant, and the Arabs didn't have a calendar to mark the years. They marked it by significant events. They had months, they had weeks, days, but they marked by major milestones in their history. The Monday is significant because Rasulullah SAW, when he was asked about, he was fasting on one Monday, and it's sunnah to fast on Mondays. And he said why he was fasting on that day. He said, it's the day ذاك يوم ولدت فيه ويوم بعثت ويوم بعثت أو أنزل علي فيه. It was a day that I was born on. It is a day that I was sent with my message, the mission, and it's also, or in another narration, it was the upon me the revelation start, which is the same thing. By giving the revelation, a mission is given to the Prophet. So this is in the cave of Hira. It was also on a Monday, and it's also ironically the day that he made Hijrah, left Makkah, and also the day they arrived in Medina Munawwara, and finally it's the day that our Prophet ﷺ passed away in as well. So if to acknowledge the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, for us to fast on Monday is a sunnah, because we're copying Rasulullah ﷺ, imitating Rasulullah ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ, one of the reasons that he gave that he fasts on Monday, it's because that's the day that he was born on. The next slide is the next line of the poem, and the slide وَوَافَقَ الْعِشْرِينَ مِنْ نَيْسَانَ وَقَبْلَهُ حَيْنُ أَبِيهِ حَانَ. It corresponds with April the 20th. وَوَافَقَ, it agrees with al-'ishrin, it corresponds to 20th, min Nisan, from Nisan. Nisan is the Arabic name for April. وَقَبْلَهُ حَيْنُ أَبِيهِ حَانَ. Before his birth, his father breathed his last. Before he was born, this is the most strongest view. There is a view that the Prophet ﷺ's father Abdullah lived for some days after the Prophet ﷺ, then he passed away. The strongest view is that he, before the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, his father Abdullah passed away, and that is the greatest type of you could say, when it comes to being an orphan, yatim. Yatim is someone whose father's passed away, and that his father didn't even see him, and he didn't see his father. So that his father left this, so he didn't receive any affection from his father at all, in the sense of that he passed away before. He didn't have that protecting hand over him. and even any time during his life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that in the Quran, in Surah Duha, Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa, did we not find you an orphan and gave you refuge or provided for you? وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًا فَهَدَى, and we found you uninformed and guided you. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, we found you poor and then we enriched you, or we made you self-sufficient. So the Prophet ﷺ's father, he passed away before. Then the next two lines are related to something immediately after the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, which is that he was taken to be nursed, meaning that to be raised up, fostered by his witness Halima. وَبَعْدَ عَامَيْنِ غَدَى فَطِيمًا جَادْ بِمُرْضِعُهُ سَلِيمًا حَلِيمَةٌ لِأُمِّهِ وَعَادَتْ بِهِ لِأَهْلِهَا كَمَا أَرَادَتْ. At the age of 2 he was weaned, meaning he stopped drinking breast milk. His wet nurse returned him safe and sound. To his mother, Halima returned with him as she intended. Now, the Prophet, what the Arabs used to do was they used to take, because of the environment of the metropolis that was Mecca, and a lot of sicknesses used to come there, and it wasn't a healthy environment. So they used to send their children to the Bedouins or to the countryside to live in a more healthier environment, away from the hustle and bustle of the city of Mecca. And various sicknesses, ironically, the sicknesses was a waba, sort of like a contagious sickness they used to spread, especially amongst children. And historically, it is known that plagues used to afflict children that used to die from the plague. So when Halima Sa'adiyah, when she came to Rasulullah, when she came to Makkah Mukarramah to take a baby, so these ladies used to come from the countryside, and they were employed by well-to-do city dweller families to take their babies and raise them in the countryside in a more healthier, robust. They grow up strong and robust in the environment of the countryside. All the babies were taken. The ladies they needed someone to foster their kids, to raise their kids, used to come, and the ladies them used to meet. All the babies from Mecca were taken except for our Prophet ﷺ. And Halima Sa'adiyah was really poor, and she herself didn't have milk for her own baby that she recently had. That many nights she spent awake because she could not give enough milk. Her child, the baby, cried in the night because there's not enough milk to give him. So she looked at Rasulullah SAW, baby, the father's passed away, he is a poor mother, and then the grandfather who's not able to do, is an old man. What are they going to give? And she felt, maybe I'll take this child, this baby, and through it I'll get some barakah and blessings. And so she reluctantly took the baby of Rasulullah SAW, and she took Rasulullah SAW, and when she left, as she was about to go, she immediately, when she started breastfeeding her baby, all of a sudden she had milk to give her baby. And then her baby slept from with a filled belly and slept. And then Sayyidina Rasulullah SAW, she also gave him milk also. Then the sheep that she had in the udders, in the udder there was no milk. All of a sudden it was full of milk. And then when she sat on her donkey that she was riding back to her village with the caravan or the group of people that were traveling back, when she's sat, all of a sudden this old camel that's riding really slow, this old donkey, all of a sudden it got like a nitrous hit, it's all of a sudden just started flying past everybody, and they were shocked that what happened to it, and that was the barakah that came with Rasulullah SAW. On the apparent, it looked like that she was taking care of Rasulullah SAW, but in reality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was taking care of her family and the tribe and the people and her children and her husband and so forth by the blessing of Rasulullah SAW. The birth of Rasulullah SAW in our history for our deen is very important to understand and appreciate. That by this person coming into this world, Allah saved the world through him. When the earth and the world was in Jahiliyyah and darkness, the light of Rasulullah SAW came into this world and removed that ignorance and the evil practices from the world. That his coming presence in this world is a source of barakah, not just for Halima Sa'adiyah, but for humanity till the day of judgment. So when she took Rasulullah SAW, of course she was experiencing all these blessings in her life. Her flock used to go and find the best pastures, come full stomach, udders were full of milk, and the neighbors ones used to look in envy, and they knew and said, what a blessed soul that you have. Why not? Why? Of course, she has the best of the creation, the Habib of Allah, in her lap that she's raising. So for 2 years, he was weaned, so there's no milk required. Obviously, at 2 years, that's when he stopped breastfeeding a baby, and she came healthy, sound, as was promised, and she came to Rasulullah, as the poem says, that to his mother, to the mother of Rasulullah SAW. Halima returned. She brought the baby back to mother. But she requested, because she wanted that all that barakah and blessings to continue in her life. And she requested to extend the stay. And that's the intention. And she convinced the mother, look, waba, there's a contagious sickness that's going around in the town, and it will affect the baby and so forth. And she thinks it's better that he stays a bit longer. And she convinced the mother of Rasulullah SAW to stay, and she convinced her, and he ended up staying with her for a longer period of time. And for us as Muslims, when you read this, you understand what a blessed person he was, that his presence in this family brought so much blessing they wanted to keep. We as Muslims, what do we take from that story or that incident that happened in the life of the Prophet ﷺ? That he was a blessed human being even at his birth, before his prophethood. That he was a chosen one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as mentioned at the beginning of this poem. He's being chosen, he's being beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the actions that come out of his body, all the a'mal, all the ta'limat, the whole way of life that he showed was mubarak and beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every sunnah and habit. Today people say it's only sunnah. It's only sunnah. This is a very dangerous statement to make. Those blessed a'mal that came from such a blessed being, we should make an utmost effort to practice each and learn and practice each and single sunnah of Rasulullah SAW. We owe to this person so much. And if we bring those actions that came, those du'as, those actions that are in his life, we bring them into our body, we bring his sunnahs into our life, we bring his character and akhlaq into our life, then how many blessings and barakat will descend in our life. So for that, when we read the life of the Prophet ﷺ, the birth is a significant event in the history of mankind. The birth is important, and we should understand what it means for each Muslim, but there is no hukam related to the birth itself, other than what the hadith itself said, that the Prophet ﷺ, he used to fast every Monday, and one of the reasons that he gave was the day that he was born. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to practice what we say in here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.